Hello, Saints. I'm going to talk a little bit about Elijah today. You know, we hear a lot about him. We think we might know what it means, especially for our movement. But I want us to really get a picture about how intrinsically we are connected to the message of Elijah and just what that message is, because you have a part to play in it, and so do I, and the rest of us. You know, Elijah there in 2 Kings 18 had called the showdown after the 3.5 years of no rain with King Ahab. And he calls for a meeting up on the mountain there of Megiddo, that Mount Carmel. And he says, we're going to go up there and we're going to find out who God is. He says, you're going to bring the priests and the prophets of Baal, and I come up there and we're going to take care of this thing. And when they meet him up there and they assemble, he asks the question, how long are you going to halt? That's King James. How long are you going to halt between two opinions? It says either Yehovah, or using the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, the divine name, or Baal is God. And he says we're going to find out who it is today, and that's who we're going to worship. So this is the showdown. In the northern kingdom, there was hardly any prophets for Creator God. He runs into Obadiah, and he's been keeping prophets protected and hidden in caves, so they weren't killed by King Ahab. But now he's going to open the door to the people that who they should be worshiping is true Creator God. Now this took place so many years ago, but it's really an eschatological event. It's an end time because it's going to set in play an end time for the northern kingdom. A few years down the road, the kingdom's going to go away. And so this is really important that the people know who it is that they're being driven to worship. And it's to the Baals. So there on the mountain, where most of us are familiar with the story, he lays out the sacrifice for Yehovah, for God, and the priests and prophets of Baal, they lay out their sacrifice, or their sacrifice to Baal, and they all take turns in offering it to God, or their God, and whatever fire comes down from heaven to consume whatever offering, he says that's going to be the answer to the question of who is God. And we know the story, and that at the end, the fire falls on Elijah's altar and consumes the offering there. And so we know there was the victory. And he calls in for the slaying of the priests and prophets of Baal. And he has had a great victory. It's interesting that after this great victory that God sends him through, he then runs from Jezebel when she threatens to take his life by morning. But he's a human being just like we are. The story of Elijah is really a story for all time, across not just in the future but in the past, back to the time when Adam and Eve sinned. When they failed to obey God, it's because they had decided to put themselves in the place of God. They have decided to stand where they ought not to have stood. And they believed themselves and disbelieved God. That maybe Satan was right. Maybe Satan was saying to them, now look, he's holding back on you. He's not giving you everything. And you eat that fruit, and you've made a decision to step forward and upward in your existence and to be like God, knowing good and evil. So they put themselves in the center of their existence, and that's been going on ever since the fall. We all have something in it other than God. Ourselves, our work, our money, our homes, property. You pick it. It's there. And we hold that up higher, in higher esteem than that of God. And God has been asking the question ever since and trying to set straight, who is God? Who has the right to rule? And we have called that the great controversy theme. The battle continues. It rages on. And so next time we'll pick up on the Elijahs of the future and how God will carry this to the fruition. Blessings.